Alright guys, it's time for Winnie 2024. I'm super excited for today. Hopefully we can get on some fish. I'm going to keep this intro very short and simple. I want to give a big shout out to Weekend Hookers Custom Tackle out of Wapton. They sent us up with some of their custom jigs and these things look awesome. I cannot wait to catch some fish on these. Also shout out to the Pines Resort on Lake Winnie. I know the day house is ready to go. As always, the cabin was great and we got a good night's sleep, so we're ready to get out there and get it done. Let's get out to the house and see how the fishing is. We are out in the day house on Lake Winnibigoshish, and these houses are through the lodge that we stay at, the Pines. And I am out here with Chris.
Hi.
And my dad, Mike.
Hey.
And we are set up recording. We've got some perch coming in that we can see on the underwater camera. So I'm going to get the camera set up here, get the GoPro going, and we are going to try and catch some fish. Okay, so here is my rod from Richland Customs. Finally have it out on the ice. And this is the first hook that I'm using. This is something that Lonnie made up, and I figured this would be really good for perch, so we're going to give this a shot for a little bit. Chris is jigging with a minnow over in his hole, and then we have a bobber set up behind me, and then we have a rattle reel in the corner, and then my dad is fishing with a bobber. And we had to make 2 trips out here, and when we got back, Dad and I did, Chris had caught 2 perch and a northern while we were gone. So there are definitely some fish in the area, and they're just kind of coming through in schools, and we're hoping we can get a few nice perch on the ice. And there's always some rogue northerns that come through, and then hoping tonight we can get some walleyes. I think we've only caught 1 walleye in the few years we've been out here, so hopefully we can get a couple walleyes to bite. Oh, just missed a bite there.
I just had one. It shouldn't come in your bowl. Because it's what I want.
So I've got my gain turned down on my Vexlar, but for those that don't know, so this line here is my jig, and then those other red lines that were on there are the perch that are down there. We'll get them to follow up here. See that bottom line got a little bit thicker. And we're trying a bunch of different hooks and stuff today that we got from the bait shop in Wapton, or just outside of Wapton. And then a couple little specialty jigs that we got from Lonnie at Richland Custom Rods too. So you can see the separation on the Vexlar there. We got one red mark that's up a little bit higher. I'm guessing that's a perch since we got a school of those down there. So all the red lines that are showing up on the Vexlar now that are kind of coming down from the top, that's probably interference, since we do have 3 of them running in the house right now. So now that they've all kind of filtered down to the bottom, like that's what it looks like without any interference on there. And there is interference rejection, but with 3 of them going, I'm sure we're still going to pick some up. If you can notice, I've got my rejection on, Chris has got his on, and that just uses a different frequency to help block out from other Vexlars and Markhams and stuff.
Yeah, I think there's 10 different settings on those, you just keep pressing the button and then I think it cycles through the different frequencies. I could be wrong on that. I thought that's how they work. So you're not on the same one.
And we've all got a different style of XLR. You've got what is yours?
Mine's a 12.
Okay, so we got two 12s that are running, and then Christopher has an 8. And then we're running an Aquaview 715C. Oh, and there's a really nice shot of a perch there. You can see a little perch running through there. Another one down there. So we should have some nice footage on the Aquaview. And I'm going to post a little short on what you have to do to be able to record on the Aquaview 715C. The 7 HDI and the 10 HDI have recording capabilities on them. So for the 715, being a little bit cheaper camera, you do have a couple other steps you have to go through to be able to record on there. I'll buzz through it quick on here too. So basically, you'll have to get an AV cable and a HDMI to AV adapter. And then you'll need a capture card of some kind. And a lot of the guys that do this for ice fishing use the AverMedia 2 Plus. So I think all in, to be able to record on there, it's going to cost around $200. But with the camera and the recording capability, you still come in cheaper than the 7 or the 10. But you do get better video quality with those other units also. So here's kind of what we got going. Just fishing a bobber in this hole. And then I always like to bring this rattle reel with. And it actually does pretty good. Usually I'll run a bigger hook on there with a little bit bigger minnow for when the northerns come through. Then we got Chris over here jigging. Chris, let me see that cool hat you got on. Weekend Hookers custom tackle in Wahpeton. Hopefully you can see this. I got their sweatshirt on. But they are a new tackle shop. Haven't even been open a year yet in Wahpeton. And they've got some great stuff in there. They do some custom tackle. Chris will keep holding the camera. I'll give you guys some examples.
I don't know if you guys can see me, but we hope that they're going to work really good.
Yeah, we can see you.
Okay. Just making sure.
So they sent some tungsten stuff along. And then some other different jigs too. And they do all the painting and stuff on these. So shout out to Weekend Hookers. Excited to have your guys' stuff with. So hopefully we can get some of these perch to bite. First year we came up here, which was how many years ago? 5?
4 or 5 now.
I don't know how many perch we caught, but it had to be in the hundreds. So
7 hours nonstop.
7 hours nonstop was exactly it. So I switched over to a VMC tumbler spoon, and I got it tipped with some wax worms. And these tumbler spoons last year, they worked really well. Tingler spoons did pretty good too. And the hot color that I had last year, and I picked up some more yesterday, were the white tiger stripe. I don't know if they got a special name for that or not, but you can see as soon as you get to the bottom, we got a school of perch here. Follow you right up. And as far as the perch go, we haven't seen or caught anything that's really crazy size-wise. Been 5-6 inches at best. And since they're kind of stubborn to bite, I just keep dropping down, pound the bottom a little bit, get their attention. Then I bring it up. Usually a couple will follow me back up. And kind of like with the walleye and stuff, just try and keep raising it up a little bit. But usually if you get, seems to be 2 feet or so up off the bottom, then they kind of chicken out and head back down. As you can see, I got picked clean by those little guys down there. But This was the hot color last year. Not saying other colors wouldn't work. It seems to be working again this year, but I think with these little perch,
Dang
We
it.
lost him.
Yep.
anything with a little bit of flash, that
Probably
little
check
spoon
my
at the
bait.
bottom provides.
Oh. It's a wounded
And
soldier.
everybody's seen it, but this is the rod that I got from Richland Customs, and pretty happy with that. Shout out to you, Lonnie. Thank you for making these awesome rods. And then for those that haven't seen it yet, that's the rod that I got made for Dad. It's a version of the Green Hornet that Lonnie's going to start making a few of now. Well, we're maybe going to get lucky and get to see a fish come topside.
Oh, I got one right here. 2 of them.
Christopher's got a
them.
couple picking on him on the camera.
I don't know if they're not hungry or what.
Minnow might be a little big. All right, we got one coming up.
Green Hornet strikes again, you putz.
For anybody that hasn't watched Grumpy Old Men, you need to watch it. It's an awesome movie. There's 2 of them, right?
Yep.
There's 2 of them.
One's ice fishing.
One's ice fishing, and they're filmed in Minnesota, so go check those out. So I was going to go outside and kind of give a look at the lake, but it is so windy out there, even with the mics. I don't know if you'd be able to hear me or not very well. So we'll just do a little kind of look around the fish house. Dad and Chris went to go get some lunch up at the resort. Our resort should be up along that shoreline there. And then they've got several houses that they have out here. All of their houses are these red skid houses. I found out this morning they do offer up to 8-hole houses, so we typically end up getting a 6. And then I bring my Eskimo with and pop that up. We've all just kind of picked corners here, so. But it's been a good trip so far. The fish haven't really been cooperating. Like I said earlier, we were coming back out from the landing, and Chris, as soon as we opened the door, he met us with a northern. So I'm sure there are northerns around. There usually are every year. It's been slow though. The perch have been small, and they're really not even able to take the hooks down that we have. So hopefully things pick up as the day goes on. We'll look at some of this tackle a little bit more closely. So up first, these are some of the more fly style, is how Lonnie described it, hooks that we have from Richland Customs. Chris is a big sucker for the Wonder Bread pattern stuff, so every time I have an opportunity to pick that up for him, I get some. And these look like they are clear coated over, so got kind of that grub look to them. And these guys are kind of fuzzy and sparkly, but these are the ones that I really expected to do big things with perch today. And honestly, I don't know if the perch are small enough that these are too big. I've had some perch come after them. I've watched it on the Vexilar, but they haven't been able to take the hook. So from Weekend Hookers, here's the tungstens that they sent along. You got ball jig. I can't remember the name of this one for sure. It was something banana. And you got this little bit bigger jig here, which I like. I'm a big fan of Fire Tiger pattern. And then we got a little bit smaller kind of teardrop style jig. And then there was a Wonder Bread one of those, but Chris had to get that on his line right away. And here's an example of some more of the jigs that Weekend Hooker sent along. They do all the painting by hand. And the nice thing about their jigs is they're all dipped, so the quality is there. As opposed to spraying where your paint may chip and break off, the dip stuff seems to hold up a lot better, last longer, so good quality paint on all these. Okay, we're going to try and catch this pesky perch. and we missed him again. That's one thing I've noticed today with all these perch is there's really not much going on for size. It's a lot of small perch, a lot of 5, 6. 6 is probably pushing it inches, and even smaller than that. So we're still trying. I've still got faith that some northerns can move in. Maybe as dusk comes around, we can get in on the walleye bite. If we'd be really lucky, I'd love to get an eel pout. I've never caught one of those, but I think our time in the house ends right before the power hour for that. So yeah, it's one of those trips where coming kind of towards the tail end of season, it's a bang or bust thing. And with how screwy the weather's been this winter, I don't think that's in our favor necessarily either. But it's a great trip. It's a good time to come with my dad and Christopher, and my grandpa's come before. I know Canute is going to be coming maybe next year, but definitely the year after. So it's a good family trip, and the amenities are awesome. Like, these houses are spacious, they're well built, there's room for everybody. They've already got chairs out here, heat turned on and ready to go when we get out here in the morning. Up at the lodge, they got options for bait. They got waxworms, suckers, fatheads, rainbows. So I would strongly recommend, if you are looking for a cost-effective trip to go fishing for a weekend or even a day, make a trip up to Winnie. And perch fishing for kids is like the easiest thing you can do to keep them entertained. Granted, you do have to convince them to bite, which has been kind of slow today, so Chris is getting a little bit bored, but that's where like the technology end of things comes into play in my mind. I know a lot of people we need to get the screens out of kids' hands, but I'll be honest, if it wasn't for that Aquaview sitting down there and the Vexlars, I would have lost Chris's attention a long time ago. But an underwater camera is a great way to keep kids entertained. I know every year since my dad has got that camera that Chris has been glued to it while we've been out here. So technology is a good thing. And with the younger generation today always needing to see stuff on a screen to stay entertained, it seems, underwater camera is a good way to get it done. Okay, I got him, finally. I had to just get off my phone a little bit. So this is kind of the average going size here today. Not very big, still fun to catch. And honestly, because of their size, they're proving a little bit of a challenge. So I'll never turn down any fish that wants to bite my line. I need you to bring your bigger brothers and sisters, though. And then this is what we have hooked up on what I just caught that one on. This is a tungsten kind of Wonder Bread pattern. This came from Weekend Hookers Custom Tackle. Thank you again for sending some of this stuff for us to try out. So we're going to get a fresh minnow on here, and we're going to keep rocking the Wonder Bread and try and catch us some bigger perch, see if he brings some friends. Okay, we've got a school of perch back in the area again. So I am all set up, camera's rolling. I have yet to catch a perch on camera today. Not that there's been a lot caught, but try and get a fish on camera here. And the ice is really cracking today. I don't know if the wind is shifting stuff around that much, but it has been cracking and popping like crazy. I've noticed too, as the day's gone on, I've kind of like checked out up toward shore and stuff, and there are some more people coming out in portables, so I'm kind of hoping as the day goes on things pick up a little bit. I'm still a little shocked we haven't seen more than just the one northern that Christopher caught this morning, and that one wasn't very big. It's pretty small northern. So last couple years we've had a few that have been 22, 23 inches, so be nice to get one of those guys to come through and bite.
Yeah, a little bit.
Looks like we got another fish. Ooh.
Northern broke the line. Broke the line right at the top of the hole.
No, that's probably what I had on then.
There went the northern.
No, well, maybe. Come on, easy.
Hey everybody, so I'm obviously not on the lake anymore. We're gonna wrap the video up here. Those two northerns that we caught were kind of the last thing worth mentioning. We did pick up a couple more perch, but I gotta give a big thank you to the Pines Resort on Lake Winnie. The accommodations are amazing. The cabins are perfectly clean, got everything you could possibly need. Day houses are always clean, holes are drilled, heat's on, ready to go. You always have bait, so nothing for us to worry about. It's literally show up, unpack, and go fishing. So thank you again to the Pines. Also, gotta give a big shout out to Weekend Hookers Custom Tackle. You guys have some of the best jigs that I've ever used. Like, the paint quality is amazing. They worked well. The fish bit, I mean, it was great. And I cannot wait to get more tackle from you guys. Anyone that's looking for some good, high quality hand painted jigs, go ahead and reach out to these gals. They do a phenomenal job and their prices are really good too. Also, don't forget, if you're in the Wahpeton area and you need bait, they have it. Minnows, waxworms, crawlers, go check them out. Also, I can officially confirm how amazing Richland Custom Rod ice fishing rods are. They have great action, they feel good in your hand, they're perfect. If you're looking for an ice fishing rod, get a hold of Lonnie at Richland Customs. All right. Hopefully we'll see you guys back again here in a couple weeks, and we'll be out turkey hunting in North Dakota.